Okay, so today we're moving on to color, which is really exciting because it means we're getting closer to the end of the class. So we already went through line, we went through value, we went through shapes, forms, we went through space. We did a little bit of texture with our portraits, and now we're in color. So this credit that we're starting today is the third to last one. So you're going to do this one where we experiment with color mixing, color theory, and then after this one, we're going to do watercolor, which we'll paint a landscape for that one, and then the last one would be the pastels, which is those birds that are on the black paper. So we're going to start by going over this PowerPoint presentation. So color. Color is the most expressive element of art. It shares a powerful connection with emotion. Have you guys ever heard this expression, I'm feeling blue? Have you guys ever heard of it? Yeah. You've never heard anybody say, why are you feeling blue? Or I'm feeling blue today. On TV? Nope. That's funny. I think you're the first person that I've heard of that's never heard of this. So what do you think it means, Devontae, since you've never heard of it?
Down, sad.
Yes. See, that's pretty good for somebody that's never heard it before. Yes. When you say I'm feeling blue, you're usually referring to feeling sad or down, right? So color has a lot of connection with emotion. It is the most expressive element of art. This picture right here is an example of Picasso's painting made in his blue period. I don't know if you remember when we went to the museum that they were talking about in his life he lost a friend. There was a time where he lost a close friend and he was depressed, and everything he painted during that time was blue. Everything was blue. All of his paintings that he created, and it was like a grieving moment. It was like to express like his emotions that he was feeling during that time. And it makes total sense if you think about it. If blue, means that you're sad or you're down, painting all your work for that period while you're feeling this way is a great way to kind of, that's therapy or to get you through those hard times. So we're going to move on and we're going to learn a little bit more of the background on how color was discovered. So in 1655, Sir Isaac Newton discovered that the effects of passing light rays through a prism and noted the results. That white light from the sun is actually a combination of colors. So the light that we see from the sun, we see it like it's white, right? Well, it actually carries all the colors in it. And the way it works is the light comes down, carrying all the colors, and then the only color that bounces off that we see is the one that's bouncing off of the object. So color is an element of art that has derived from reflected light. Don't worry about your packets right now. I'll tell you when you can start using them. So I know this is kind of like weird to believe, but all the colors come in white light. And when the light hits the object that we're looking at, the light that bounces off of it is the color that we see. So in this case, the bananas are yellow. So all the lights are hitting the banana, but the only one that is bouncing off of it is yellow. So that's the color that we see. Okay. So now on your packet, for number 1, you're going to be able to answer this one with this slide. Primary colors. So red, yellow, and blue are the primary hues. Now the word hues means color. So don't get confused when you see that word. You cannot make primary hues from mixing other colors. But by mixing primaries together and adding black and white, you can actually mix all the colors. So go ahead and write down the 3 primary colors for number 1. Did you do it right? So did you guys understand that? By using red, yellow, and blue, you can actually mix all of these colors. If you add black and white, you can make the different tones and shades of every color. Now, secondary colors are hues that are created by mixing two primary colors together. For example, if you mix red and yellow, what do you get? Orange. If you mix blue and yellow, Devontae, what do you get?
Blue and yellow, green.
Green. And then Sarah, can you tell me what you get when you mix red and blue? Violet. So go ahead and write down your 3 secondary colors for number 2. So you should have orange, green, and violet. All right, intermediate colors are the next one, which is for number 3. So intermediate colors are colors that you get when you mix primary colors and secondary colors together. For example, if you mix red and violet, you get red-violet. If you mix yellow and green, you get yellow-green. Notice that red is the primary color and violet is the secondary color, so you get red-violet. Yellow is the primary color, green is the secondary color, so you get yellow-green. Do you guys see a pattern happening here on the names? Do you guys see how the primary color is always first? So when you're writing down your colors, make sure that you're writing the primary color first. There's 6 spots right here for you to write down the intermediate colors. So they should look like this. So you see all these ones that are represented by the triangles? Those are all your intermediate colors. So I would like you to go around and write down all your intermediate colors. So you're going to have, if you're working with this one, you have yellow and green. So what is this going to be?
Light green? Because light, I guess.
No, remember this?
Oh, yeah.
What would it be if it's in between yellow and green?
Yellow-green.
Yellow-green. What about this one that's in between blue and violet? Huh? Blue-violet. So you do the primary color first when you label them. Okay? You got it? Alright, go ahead and write them down. There's 6 slots. There's 6 triangles. So in each little blank spot, you're going to write red-violet, yellow-green, and all the other ones that are around there. Just focus on the ones that are represented by the triangle. So you see how you have the word bank? We're going to use these words to fill in the blanks on numbers 4 all the way to 12. But we're going to do it in sections. So first we're going to be talking about hue, intensity, and value, which is numbers 4, 5, and 6. So if you find the word that matches with the definition, go ahead and write it in. So numbers 4 to 6, we're talking about hue, intensity, or saturation, and value. 3 properties of color work together to make the colors we see. So hue, intensity, and value. And hue is the name of a color in the color spectrum, like red, yellow, and blue. The color spectrum is the entire, the whole collection of colors. That's the color spectrum. And hue refers to color. So it can be red, yellow, or blue, or all the colors. Because when you mix these 3 together, you get every color there is. Can you guys find out which one that's referring to? 9. We're working with 4, 5, and 6. 4. The next one is intensity. Intensity, also referred to as saturation, is the brightness or dullness of a color. Devontae, can you tell me which one intensity is?
5.
5. And then value, which we've already talked about value. You should be able to identify this one quickly. Value is the art element that describes the darkness or lightness of a color. And that would be which one? 6. All right, let's talk a little bit about value. Different hues, when fully saturated, have different values. So you notice how the top, they organized the colors from light. It goes from the yellow, and then it goes to the darker ones, which is the blues and the purples, and then it goes back to the yellow. If you match it with a value, like if you're talking about shades, they actually represent, these colors represent these values. Like, would you guys agree that those purples and blues are more like these grays right here? Yeah, right? Yellow wouldn't be, that dark. And then when you can do it with one color where you just go really light, just like we did with our value scales. You can go from a really bright yellow and then slowly bring it to white, which would represent, the value scale would represent the black, the 100%, and then you can just make it lighter like a gray. All right. Now for this next one, we're going to talk about tint and shades, which is numbers 7 and 8. So if you can change the value of any hue by adding black or white. So let's say this is our pure color. This is our blue. If we want to make a tint, we add white to it to make a tint. If we want to make a shade, we add black to blue to make a shade. Does that make sense? If you want to make a tone, you add a gray to your color. So you have your pure color, you add black, it'll create something like this that's called a shade. It's a darker version of a color. If you want to create a tint, then you add your pure color and your white, and it creates a tint, which is a lighter version of your color. So can you guys answer 7 and 8 for me, please? For 9 and 10, we're going to talk about white light and how it reflects. So white reflects light in a sense of in the presence of all colors. Black absorbs the light and is the absence of all colors. You guys, can you guys see that? Is that better focused? Well, I'm going to read it to you. So, the white is the presence of all colors, right? The light from the sun comes in and it has all colors. But if it hits a black surface, black absorbs light. So it's the absence of color. So you see there's nothing bouncing off. So no light is reflected from black. If you have a white surface and light is coming and hits the white, all of the colors bounce off of it. If you have a red surface, which is kind of like the picture of the banana that I showed you guys earlier, the light comes in with all the colors, and because it's a red surface, only the red will bounce off. Okay? So remember this. Black is the absence of all color, and light is the presence of all color. Okay? Can you guys answer 9 and 10, please? So color spectrum is created when light is passed through a wedge-shaped glass called a prism. It bends the beam of light and it separates the colors into bands. So this might sound kind of confusing, but if we had like a little triangle, it's called a prism, but it's like a little pyramid that is glass and light's going through it. It'll separate the colors into bands, kind of like the rainbow does. So for numbers 11 and 12, use this to help you answer these. Color schemes. So you're going to match on these last 4, you're going to match the color scheme with the correct definition. So we have monochromatic, We have analogous colors, complementary